Hello everyone, I'm Samuel Pasamonte, and I'm going to attempt to summarize what my groupmates have taught you in the earlier videos about conceptual design. Ray Rivera taught how a conceptual data model is made. Now, this conceptual design is based on business data requirements, which are business rules and functional requirements. The end goal is to be able to create a conceptual data model. This needs the following details: entity names, entity attributes, and entity relationships, which are used in the entity relationship model. This will be discussed further by Alfred Zaraga. There are two possible approaches to creating this model. The top-down approach, in which the design is made from scratch, and the bottom-up model, which means that there is already existing data, which we will be using to create our entity relationship model. Travis John Villanueva discussed some important concepts regarding entities, such as the entity type, which represents the structure of top-level concepts, the instance, which is a single occurrence of an entity, the candidate key, which is an attribute that uniquely identifies records without looking at other data, the primary key, which is a key taken from a set of candidate keys that is chosen to represent the entity, and the domain, which is a set of rules or constraints in each attribute. Alfred Zaraga presented the entity relationship diagram. This is a graphical portrayal of entities and relationships. Here is a sample entity relationship diagram. You can see the rectangles are the entities, such as customer, purchase order, line item, and stock item. Relationships are diamond shaped and they link entities. For example, customer, places, purchase order. Places is the relationship. Finally, attributes are ovals. Things like the customer number, the customer street, the customer name, the street, the city, the state, the zip code, and the phone number are all attributes of the customer entity. Now, you'll see some other symbols like this bar or the circle, these crow's legs. These will be discussed later when we tackle minimum and maximum cardinality. Teresa Weimart showed more examples of these entity relationship diagrams, which apply all of our learnings from this and subsequent slides. Alan Berankit discussed the different degrees of a relationship. This can be seen in the entity relationship diagram and is defined as the number of entities in a relationship. There is unary or recursive, which is one entity. The relationship looks at the same entity. Binary refers to a relationship between two entities, such as customer and purchase order in the previous example, while ternary is a grouping of three entities in one relationship. John Ariosa talked about the cardinality of a relationship. This is the number of occurrences in one entity that are related to the number of occurrences in another entity. There are three types of cardinalities. One is to one is to many, and many is to many. You would notice that many is to many is M is to N. It is not M is to M, nor is it N is to N. Related to cardinality, John Rick Navua talked about maximum and minimum cardinality. So, minimum cardinality tells us if the relationship is mandatory or optional. It is noted towards the center of the relationship line. It could either be 0 or 1. And the symbols used are circle or bar. Bar would represent 1 while circle would represent 0. Maximum cardinality sets the upper bound on a relationship. It is noted towards the end of the relationship line. It may be either one or many. Symbols used are bar for one or crow's foot for many. The next slide will show you what these symbols look like. So here are the symbols of minimum and maximum cardinality. 1 or 0 is indicated by a circle for 0 and a bar for 1. 1 and only 1 is indicated by 2 bars. 0 or many is indicated by 1 circle and a crow's leg, while 1 or many is indicated by 1 bar and a crow's leg. Vanessa Mack presented the topic on existence dependencies and weak entities. An existence dependency is an entity that is only meaningful when associated with another entity. The dependent entity is known as a weak entity. It cannot stand on its own. It needs the help of an identifying entity. The primary key of the weak entity is dependent on the identifying entity, and that is your existence dependency. Vanessa Mack also presented about the multi-valued attributes and repeating groups. So multi-valued attributes are several values for an individual attribute. These are denoted by a double oval in the entity relationship diagram. They could also be split out into their own entity, which has a relationship to the original entity. A repeating group is a group of multi-valued attributes. They can form their own entity in the entity relationship diagram. This is used for normalization, which will be tackled by another group. This concludes our presentation. Thank you for listening. If you have any questions, feel free to reach out to us on my portal. I would also like to thank Christian Panaga for giving us a great introduction to this topic. Thank you everyone, and have a good day.